Hey, you need to turn left here.
Why?
Because left is the way that we need to go.
I think I'm gonna go straight and then turn left.
Okay, I'm telling you, left is the way we need to go.
Why can't I? Fine, whatever. I'm just gonna turn left.
Hey, watch out for the curb.
I'm not gonna hit the curb.
Hey, it's only 40 miles an hour here.
I'm doing 42. I think the cop's gonna give me some grace on that one.
Fine. Hey, you're a little too close to that car in front of us.
You know what? I'm watching the distance between me and that car. I'm perfectly matched to him.
I told you should slow down. That's a cop over there.
That's a cop. No, that's not a cop. No, that's not a cop. See, I know what I'm doing. I've been driving since I was 15.
Yeah, and we have a 16-year-old driver now, and you're driving like him.
Man, what is wrong with you? I swear there's some days that I look over there and it's as though you have your own steering wheel.
Welcome back for this week's Marriage Matters Monday. Now, the scenario that you just saw actually happened many times over in our relationship.
Many times.
What would happen, as you saw, is that I would be driving and Elizabeth would be on a nonstop course correction of everything that I did when it came to driving.
So you got to understand, I mean, even when I know in advance we're going somewhere, I mean, it could be local, it could be long distance. I'm thinking the most efficient route from point A to point B. And of course, my goal is to get Fred to either read my mind or just tell him outright what would be the best way to take.
You remember a few sessions ago where we were talking about going on vacation and Elizabeth was going for that exact specific timetable? The same thing would happen when we would run errands, go to the store, go to a friend's house. She would try to dictate to me exactly which turns I should take so that we could minimize the number of stops or the number of red lights or the number of turns, so that we could save time. Oftentimes we're talking 30 seconds.
30 seconds is 30 seconds, y'all. Just saying.
And so this would drive me absolutely crazy because I felt that there was no way that I could ever live up to her driving perfection.
And so let's break the scenario down in terms of love and respect. You know, there were two things for me as wanting to feel loved, is that if you loved me, you would take into consideration that I want to get there quickly and efficiently. There was that aspect for me. And the other aspect for me is if you loved me, then you would make sure that I feel safe, because some of those things had to do with feeling safe, or even just taking into consideration that I don't want us getting tickets. So speeding is a big deal because tickets cost money, and money is a touch point for me. So those were kind of all the things going on in my mind, not necessarily all at one time, but certainly, you know, throughout each of these crazy cycles that we would have.
And for the respect side of the coin, I'm thinking if you respect me, then you won't try to control me. When was the last time that I got into a flaming car wreck from my driving? It's like never. So that's not saying that I'm driving around completely carefree. I am aware of how I'm driving, how fast I'm driving, and how close I'm following the car in front of me. And if you respect me, you would trust me that I haven't gotten us into a car wreck yet, and I am being careful as I see what careful is.
Okay, so there are your love and respect. Now remember, these are all in the parentheticals. If you haven't watched that Marriage Matters Monday, go back and look up the parenthetical video. But these are the unspoken things that we're not expressing to each other, but they're definitely coming into play in the course of our interactions in the vehicle. Okay, so how does this decoding work? Let's start with you being the driver and me being the passenger.
So guys, the first thing that you need to do is not react according to what you feel from her comments. She's going to say things and they're going to feel disrespectful. Do not respond to that feeling of disrespect. Instead, take a moment and respond to how your wife may be feeling. If she's saying you're following too close, consider that she's feeling scared that you might get into a car wreck. Consider that she's feeling scared that you might get injured.
And then, so on the passenger side, so we'll use it from my perspective, that first would be really you can somewhat avoid it by watching your tone, because if you're not careful, tone can communicate a lot of disrespect and it can escalate what's already going to be a crazy cycle moment. So watch your tone. And the other thing is think about how you're going to say things. So one of the things that I've learned to do is rather than saying you're speeding and you need to watch your speed, I might say to Fred, do we know what the speed limit is here? So that the conversation can be opened up and we can talk about that, because you know what? He might be unaware of exactly what the speed limit is. So what am I doing? I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to him as the driver and trusting that he is a trustworthy driver and not just being accusatory about his driving.
And let me just reassure you that when we're driving around, whether it's Elizabeth or myself, that we still do these things where if I'm the passenger, I might be stomping a hole in the floor.
Yes. He totally does that.
Where that brake pedal isn't.
He totally does that. And I only tell you, even with all that we know about love and respect, there are times where he says things about my driving and man, I just snap back because it just makes me mad because I just don't like it. So we're still works in progress here, and you will be as well. The key is just making sure that you're giving goodwill to your spouse, that you're not responding out of your own emotion, so that you can minimize how much crazy cycle you get to.
So we're praying for you this week as you drive around to be aware of these things and to properly decode what's going on. Mm-hmm. Leave us your questions, your comments below. We look forward to seeing them because we know that you have these situations also. And we'll look forward to seeing you back here next week for Marriage Matters Monday.